All right, today we're going to look at running backs. We're going to concentrate on the running backs from the 2024 class. All the running backs drafted last year, how they do. So we got a deep 2025 running back class this year. So how did the 2024 running backs do? And did they do enough? Did they get enough return on their investments for their draft capital? We're going to take a look at the 2024 and see if they did enough to alter the plans for the 2025 draft. Teams won't be looking for a running back maybe if they did good enough in the draft last year. Or maybe they're going to need a running back based on who they drafted last year. Let's get started this time and look at the running backs. Welcome into Fantasy AI. Moving on. All right, let's get started with last year's running backs. Not a household name. 123rd running back overall was Chase McClellan. All right, Chase McClellan here with the Atlanta. He was hurt his knee early. I put on IR. From Alabama, was a 6th round pick. Really didn't do much last year, obviously, for them. Now you'd say, wait a minute, they have Bijan Robinson here, number 4 running back overall. Tyler Allgeier's been a capable backup here. But the problem is he's going to want he's at the end of his contract. You see here, his contract is up at 2025, so a lot of times it's easier to pay a rookie to replace him because you've got Robinson. Robinson's going to be your number 1. So, with Chase McClellan not really hitting last year, let's start with Atlanta here. I'm going to keep track and keep track of how hungry the teams are for a running back. I've got them at a 5 because Tyler Allgeier's in the last year of his contract. Sometimes it's easier to replace the rookie and try to get in a bidding war with a free agent. So, next up, we're going to bring out the next is Vidal. Vidal from the Chargers, right? He didn't get in very much last year, got in some. The story with him was he struggled at pass protection. Of course, the cardinal rule is if you can't pass protect, you've got problems, right? So same kind of thing there. Jim Harbaugh, we're looking for his running backs. Brought in Najee Harris, right? Well, that's the star there. That's what they're going to have. But after that, they really just have Vidal, who can't pass protect, and Haskins, who's been a kind of a journeyman. Right? They picked him up off of waivers from Tennessee, so they could use a running back maybe there at the Chargers. And I've got them pretty high here. All right, I got them at a 7. Of course, they lost Gus Edwards and J.K. Dobbins, so they're looking for a number 2. So let's go ahead and put them at a number 2. All right. So let's start next. Bring out the next running back. These are the ones drafted last year. Isaiah Davis from the Jets. Got a surprise action last year, being 3rd on the depth chart. All right. 71st overall. Problem here is the new coach, Aaron Glenn, wants to install a committee approach, right? Aaron Glenn comes over from Detroit, his first year coaching here in the NFL. And worked in Detroit, so he wants to do a committee approach. Well, you got Breece Hall leading the committee. That's pretty good. He finished 17th overall, and Braylon Allen was coming on. He had power, short yardage, goal line. Moved the chains on all 9 attempts he had at 3rd and 1. So, very capable there. The little rub here, and the problem is, of course, is Breece Hall. Go look at his contract. He's in the last year of his contract. All right? So, hey, they might make a move instead of going to negotiate with that free agent. Well, you get a cheap one in the draft, and you let Allen and Davis take that. So Hall's in the final year of his contract. It's kind of a luxury, but I put them at a 5 as far as their draft needs. So let's go back here and bring out the next. Next up, we've got Kellen Robinson. So he was a draft pick for the suffered a toe injury for the Jaguars, headed to IR at the thing. Then he played a lot of special teams. See, he didn't really score any points. Now, here, of course, they've battled with Tank Bigsby last year, and ETN was their 1 and 2. So you'd say, hey, that's great. Let's have them two battle out again. And they don't really need a running back here. They've got other holes to fill in Jacksonville. Well, problem is, of course, it always comes back to the contract. Travis Etienne here in the final year of his contract. Why get in a bidding war, right? So that's kind of the same here. We're going to have to go look at them. Let's put Jacksonville down as a 5 also, because Etienne's in the final year of his contract. Sure, it would help out in their contract situations if they went and got a rookie. But, hey, you got to see how that's going to employ in other parts of other teams they need, parts of the teams they need to build for. Next up is exciting rookie here. Now we're getting into some ones that actually did 26th running back overall. Tyrone Tracy last year, right? Kind of a surprise for them. Hey, we went ahead and put him as the number 1 running back there, right? Although recent visits from top prospects Scatabo and Hampton suggest that the Giants are going to make a upgrade at running back. Now, they brought in Singletary from free agency a year or two ago. Didn't do much, so we kind of struggled there. So we got, why not do better? If you've got the capital, you're 23rd in running. So we're going to take a look at that kind of. Let's put the Giants, down at 6.5, looking for better. Yeah, Tracy did good. He'd make a great number 2. But hey, stack that team. They don't have to jump in there at the first round or anything, but hey, they're looking. All right, 6.5, I've got them down as looking for some running back help. We're going to go through and build a list of all the teams and who's the hungriest at running back. All right, so next up is Baltimore. We got this Ali brought in. All right, he was a rookie. You see here, he's Keaton Mitchell. I have as their 3rd. Justice Hill is their 2nd. And, of course, Derrick Henry. Now, Derrick Henry is under contract for just 1 more year. You can see that this is the end of his contract. So that's the only thing they have there. I mean, of course, Derrick Henry's going to run it back, and Justice Hill. And they got Keaton Mitchell waiting in the wings here. He was undrafted, but hey, been waiting for him to show for some time. So lukewarm here for Baltimore. They pretty well got their team right. So Henry's getting older. I put him at 5 just because, hey, they could start to think about life after Henry, but they'll probably get him on another, probably re-sign him depending on how he did this year. So let's move back. We got them down. Keeping track of all the teams, and then we're going to go back and see who's the hungriest team. We might as well keep track as we're going through last year's running backs, right? Audric Estime finished 63rd at running back last year. For Denver, crowded room there last year. Denver, you can see, had 310 points, yards rushing, 2 touchdowns. But McLaughlin here's their number 1. They got rid of and they got Audric Estime here's number 3. So they're looking, right? Javonte Williams moved on to, was it Dallas? So or move out of there. So we'll go put them down as Derrick Henry. Denver needs a star, right? McLaughlin, Audric Estime. I got them ranked highest here at 8. Needing a star running back. They have nothing. Cupboard bare there, right? So let's go ahead and move over a little bit. Get me some more room here. Let's bring out the next one. Braylon Allen, we kind of went over him, right? With the Jets. So he finished 51st last year, 66 points, great short yardage. So we kind of went over the Jets situation. Let's just go ahead and bring out another one for Detroit. Viak. All right. So we'll pop in and look at Detroit. Of course, he's not even listed as the third stringer. We got Craig Reynolds as their third stringer, Montgomery, and Gibbs. So everybody knows about Detroit's running back room. So I've just put them down as loaded and not looking with a 4. I mean, Gibbs, Montgomery, and they just re-signed Reynolds. They're not looking. So they're one of the easier ones. I put them as a 4. They don't need any running back help. So next up is San Francisco, right? Grando did pretty good, 45th last year at running back. Kind of a surprise. Well, everybody was kind of surprised last year when McCaffrey couldn't make the call. All right. So have Grando stepped up. Of course, they had Jordan Mason, who they traded or let go in free agency. I'm sorry. So they're kind of needing a running back. I mean, it depends on Christian McCaffrey and his health. Of course, said he's healthy, doing great. And Grando could be used as a compliment. Well, hey, this is the NFL. You never know. So they're probably going to be looking. I put him down as a 6.5. You know, you just never know with McCaffrey. He's getting up there. And Grando hasn't had that many carries, right? I mean, that he's all everything. So not a lot of history there. So I put him down as interested. But hey, it's a deep draft. This is on all these teams. Why wait? Why not wait a little bit and not use your early rounds on that? But I've got them as a 6.5 because they need some future, right? They need some future. So let's move on. Let's bring out another running back. Ray Davis for Buffalo. All right, Ray Davis for Buffalo did pretty good last year. Hey, you have my number. Give me a call. 4th rounder out of Kentucky, right? Put him down. So James Cook, this is the same story. Yeah, he's great. Mr. Wonderful, 7th overall. All right, but it all comes down to the contract. Contract extension's hitting a brick wall. Bills might have to address it at running back. Playing for his contract next year. Now, is that going to be with the Bills? If they let it not sign before the season starts, and he'll be a free agent after that. Of course, they could always do the tag him, but Ray Davis here is their number 2. He did pretty good last year. 35th overall, 99 points. So let's see where we put the Bills down as. I wrote them down as a 5.5. It'd kind of be a luxury not having to deal with the contract for Cook. But they could just default to Davis. I put get over that. So we'll see how Buffalo does. But, you know, hey, Josh Allen's kind of the story there. So let's go ahead and bring out the next running back, Will Shipley, right? Will Shipley didn't really get a lot of action behind Barkley last year. So, and that's where we currently stand with Philadelphia. You got Barkley, and he's under contract for a while. They really have no number 2. Shipley is their number 2. And Davis Price. We got Davis Price here. So, hey, they could always go shopping even though they have Barkley. I put them down as a 6. Remember, they got rid of Gainwell. So really they have no, Shipley, but are you ready to go to Shipley for the year? So, hey, I put them out as a 6. They could be looking. Why not look? So, all right, next up, we'll bring out, getting close to some here that are doing really good, right? So let's bring out their next running back. We got Bucky Irving. Now here we go, number 14th overall running back, 200 fantasy points. If you had him on your team, that really helped out last year. So, 14th overall, they're doing pretty good here with Bucky, right? 90 PFF rushing grade, 7th among rushers last year. So they did quality work last year. Now they got, of course, they got Rashard White here, 24th running back last year. He's done pretty good. The problem here is he is, go to his contract, Rashard White, and you see that he's out of contract. So they're going to need to make a move for him. Oh, and he'll be going to free agency, and he'll be too high priced. They have this Sean Tucker sitting here in the back, so he was undrafted, though. So, hey, what do we have for Tampa? Making a move at running back. I've marked them down as 6.2. Hey, White's in the final year. They could use a big back to pair with Bucky Irving, right? So we got them at a 6.2. All right, so we're bringing out the last year's Jalen Wright here. Jalen Wright was 84th. A lot of noise, a lot of promise last year. We're getting up here to the high draft picks last year. He was in the 4th round, 120 picked overall. Just seemed lost last year. Of course, they got rid of Mostert and Jeff Wilson, so they need him to step up, right? But I just didn't know the plays. They brought in Madison. So that obviously going to fill their need at power back. Because A-Chain isn't the largest. A-Chain's their number 1, 9th overall. Did great last year, so they're set with A-Chain and Madison. So it's kind of lukewarm from them. Jalen Wright, they have him. Maybe he sees the light a little better, but he just seemed lost last year, like he couldn't provide. I think so. Where do we put them down at? Miami, I have them down at a 5.5. Needs some muscle. Madison was only under a 1-year contract. So, all right, let's get moving on we're getting through to the very top of the ones here. Let's go ahead and bring out the last one. Of course, I'm going to need some more room here. Let's find out about Lloyd here with the Packers. So they have Josh Jacobs under contract, doing good there. This Marshawn Lloyd, expected a lot more out of him, was a high pick, right? Hip and hamstring injuries sidelined his thing, but 89th pick overall. Was going to make some noise there in Green Bay. A lot of people ranking him high in preseason, did nothing, Josh Jacobs. So maybe he comes on a little bit more and brings Josh Jacobs down a little bit. But right now we kind of got the Packers set with the rookie and Josh Jacobs coming back. So I say stay put them at a 4. Them in Detroit don't really need to make very many moves here in the draft coming up. So we'll move back and we're down to the end. Well, this is pretty well down to the last. Blake Corum, right? For the Rams. 82 overall. Thought that he was going to get some more action last year. Of course, when you give Kyrene Williams 43% of the action last year, right? 43% of the touches last year for the Rams. Maybe they need an extension, right? Here's the big deal. We got Kyrene Williams here. Go to he's out of contract, so they're going to try to re-sign him. I mean, look at that, number 6 running back. Hey, what are they going to do with him? Bring him back? Bring him in? So, of course, they going to let him go after this year. Maybe they could franchise him. But so, even though they have Blake Corum and Ronnie Rivers, we're going to see what they're going to do here. I went ahead and put them down as draft being an answer to Kyrene's contract at 5.5. So I put them down at 5.5. So, all right, getting close here to the end. Let's bring out Trey Benson with Arizona. Trey Benson didn't get into a lot of action last year. Finished 66th overall. Hey, Coach Speak says we've got 2 starting running backs. If Benson takes the necessary jump from first year to the second year. Well, you see here he was a 66th pick overall, high draft capital. So, and they selected him, right? So he got Connor. Connor's still under contract, just re-signed him 2 year. So everything's looking good, Trey Benson. So you don't put Arizona. Let's go check where we got them. But even though they took last year, we don't really need them. They got a deep draft, wide take anything, wait. I got them at a 4 with that Benson last year. So let's go ahead and go back to bring out the last one. Of course, the last one's kind of a sad story. Jonathan Brooks. Jonathan Brooks hurt again in Carolina. All right. So we'll miss most of the 2025 season. Might need to replace him in the draft. Of course, 46th pick overall, second round pick. Of course, his loss was Chuba Hubbard's gain. Finished 11th overall last year. Hey, he's still under contract. They just rewarded him with a new contract to 2028. So he's their number one. And we got brought in number two, Ricky Dowdell, right? 22nd running back overall. So they took care of their issues through free agency, right? So we got Carolina down as a 4.5, even though the Jonathan Brooks deal, hey, they used free agency to address their thing. So they really don't need another one. So that's where we're stand here with this list. We're going to go through the other half in the next one and make a video of the hungriest teams. So let's take a look at this. If you're liking what you're seeing, please hit that like. Please hit that subscribe button. Do it today. Be the first on your block. Hit that subscribe button. Thumbs up. Thank you. All right, it's that time. I need to fill my shorts. Get a short, make a short out of this. Warning, this is a rapid repeat. Fantasy AI with a 2024 running backs drafted. Blake Corum comes in at number 10. Little action for the Rams. Vidal had some little action for the Chargers last year. Comes in at number 9. Isaiah Davis did get in some action for the Jets last year late. Trey Benson just didn't really fire last year for Arizona. James Conner saw most of the action. Notre Dame Audric Estime couldn't break the lineup too much there with Denver last year. Used all three running backs. Braylon Allen, goal line short yardage for the Jets last year. Looks to improve on his rookie year. Garando got a lot of action here with McCaffrey being hurt. He did pretty good. Ray Davis, kind of a surprise for Buffalo there. Got in some good action. Participated Tyrone Tracy. Giants number 1 right now. Surprising rookie year. And Bucky Irvin took the number 1 spot in Tampa. Great rookie year.